Rowdy.com Big Three. I'm Buck Fever.
Yes, welcome.
He's Bass Masters. And Buzz Cutler has the burning NASCAR questions. He's even wearing his NASCAR Racing Experience shirt today.
He is. We went to Charlotte and drove some race cars.
And I burned up the track.
You burned up the track at 120 miles an hour.
Oh, I didn't go 120. I went at least 130. I was faster than Corn Dog, but then again, who wasn't?
No, you weren't. Were you really faster than Corn Dog?
Everybody was faster. Corn Dog was basically going backwards.
Well, I did pass Corn Dog, as I recall.
All right, issue number one. I'm going to read you some finishes, all right? And I want you to tell me who it is we're talking about.
Okay.
These are your last five finishes.
Okay.
26th, 23rd, 32nd, 16th, 23rd. Buck, who are we talking about?
I know, so you
Buck,
go ahead and
you
guess.
know.
Oh, yeah.
26th, 23rd, 32nd, 16th, 23rd.
I was actually working on the same thing for the podcast. So, no, go ahead.
Who's
I want to say Carl Edwards, but he finished well in Richmond, so that's
Finished
not
fifth
him.
at Richmond.
you would think those were like Jamie McMurray
you'd
type
think-
of finishes,
No,
right?
you-
That
No,
Jamie Mack, come on, he's not that bad.
I wouldn't think they were. I would think they were a Sam Hornish type finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart.
Ow!
Good God.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No way.
What is up with the smoking one?
They're confused. They're confused.
Wow. That's interesting. That's really cool.
When you run that poorly at Richmond, your favorite racetrack,
I
and you're
know.
Tony Stewart, something is amiss. Now, they'll probably figure it out and get it turned around. Doesn't it make you wonder, though, if they're still getting all the information they were getting last year? I'm not saying they're not, but man, to miss it by that much for that many weeks in a row, that's where anyone can miss it for 1 week. Last year, we saw Jimmy Johnson miss it kind of at Atlanta, then he came back and finished second. He kind of missed it at Texas. Remember that? He didn't have a good race in the chase. So anyone can miss it, but that many weeks in a row, that many poor finishes.
The thing is,
that's where you wonder, is this some kind of systematic issue?
Yeah, because this is what we expected Tony Stewart to do last year, not this year. He had such a phenomenal race last year. He just came right out of the box on fire, and now...
And Ryan Newman is outrunning him.
Ryan Newman's outrunning him right now.
All right, let's move on to issue number two. This came out late last week, but we haven't talked about it yet on video, and that, of course, is that Chad Knaus and Alan Gustafson get signed to extensions by Hendrick Motorsports. Knaus, okay, that's a no-brainer, and perhaps Gustafson's a no-brainer as well, but it's unusual to see a crew chief's contract extended without a sense of who he will be working with behind the wheel.
Perhaps there is a sense.
It's clear now that Casey Kane is going to be with Alan Gustafson. I mean, it seems to me. Am I wrong?
I think if I were putting odds on it, I'd say that's the probable outcome. However, I still believe that there's this 2011 season where things have to happen, and Rick Hendrick hasn't locked himself into this by any means. So what if, Casey Kane, let's just say, brings Kenny Francis over and runs the third car for Stuart Haas or something like that,
really
and has
well.
a phenomenal year? Well, maybe you want to keep those guys together.
Yeah,
maybe Casey's preference is important, and maybe Junior's still kind of mucking along, running in the 30s,
So you
pretending he's the David Reagan of Hendrick Motorsports.
So you toss Lance McGrew out and give him Gustafson.
I see that as a possibility.
How many crew chiefs are we going to let Junior work his way through?
Until he finds the right one.
The guy made like $30 million last year, $25 million. Whatever he wants, baby. That's just the way it is.
I couldn't agree more.
All right. Issue number three. For the second Big Three in a row, we're going to be talking Jeff Owens of SceneDaily.com.
Man, this guy's on fire.
Jeff,
how good it must feel to make the Rowdy.com Big Three.
He is on fire.
It's what he lives for.
Jeff Owens.
Jeff posited an interesting theory on SceneDaily.com where he said, short of burning his bridges, perhaps Kevin Harvick's little tirade last season actually pushed Richard Childress Racing to the point where they are once again at the top of the sport.
Well, first of all, they're not quite at the top of the sport, although they are if you say Kevin Harvick's leading the points.
I mean, I think that's an interesting point. I mean, he's saying that the fact that Kevin Harvick got all pissed off and said, the equipment stinks and things aren't working here, I want out of here. But did that make Richard work any harder? That's the question.
I agree with you, Buck. I
don't think,
it's all part of a dynamic. What are the signs and the symbols that tell you that we have some major issues we have to fix? You can deceive yourself into thinking, well, we're just a tweak or two away, and you get someone like Kevin Harvick that comes out and says, I want out, basically, is what he basically said that, right? I mean, I don't think it wasn't that ambiguous.
No, it's like, I will not be here next year.
But I'm with you. I think Richard Childress kind of knew what had to be done. So I'm not sure. Plus, you talk about burning bridges. We actually did some research on this. This is an important question, really. So we tried to figure out, is it that easy to burn your bridges because, no one's ever done that. So we sent Buzz Cutler out on assignment to check out just how difficult is it to burn your bridges.
Well, Buck and Bass, I hope you can hear me over the train. I got to say, I've been out here for the better part of an hour trying to burn this bridge, and it's a lot easier said than done. I realize I'm no Kevin Harvick. The lighter gets hot before the bridge gets burning, but I really haven't even been able to generate a flame, let alone burn the entire bridge. Oh, almost got it lit that time. Come on. Well, I'll keep at it, Buck and Bass, but in the meantime, back to you guys in the studio.
And there you go. So I think maybe the chances of Kevin Harvick coming back are a little better than we thought, Buck, because it's not so easy to burn those bridges.
Also, Kevin has nowhere to go!
Well, that's another point.
Yeah, and he's number one in points, so duh, Kevin.
Well, we'll see what happens. A long way to go. Long way to go this season.
Mr. Childress? Mr. Childress?
So you're saying Kevin is going to go with AMP and be in the 88 car?
He needs to take his hat in hand and go talk to Richard. And...
Well, I mean, maybe...
we need to take our hat in hand and leave the studio now.
Yeah. Wave like you're really awkward on TV.
Like the Beverly Hillbillies. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Oh, that is.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.